Good evening, viewers and listeners of Concerned Citizens Media. Thank you for coming back again. Today is December the 6th, 2022. I will share several updates on Oromia, Somalia region, World Soccer Qatar 2022, plus also other news on former US President Donald Trump. So thank you again for coming back. So in Oromia, after a long patience, Oromo students from elementary, high school, and now university level are expressing their frustration and on the ongoing genocide, especially in East and West Wallega, plus other parts of Oromia region. So they are now massively coming out, denouncing the regime and denouncing the Fano cross-border attack, and they are calling for a complete freedom for Oromos, and they are calling on Oromos to unite and fight the system which allow the Fano militia to cross into Oromia region and carry out all these genocides for the last several weeks, especially. So they are very frustrated, they are very angry, they are disappointed, and they are now coming back to the pre-2018 situation. They are looking for change. They are disappointed by the Abiy Ahmed administration hijacked the revolution. So let's credit for Oromia Media Network. Let's listen to them. Then I have also articles about protests by Addis Standard. I always appreciate Addis Standard. That's the only English news outlet sharing what's going on in Ethiopia. The other news, SAT, Fana, ABS, all of them, they are turning a blind eye what's happening on Oromos. So I always appreciate Addis Standard for giving us updates on various news on Ethiopia. So let's listen to these protesters and OMN reporting. Then I will have a rough translation what they are saying. Then I will go to Addis Standard. Then a little bit update on Qatar. Then to the next news. Thank you again for coming back. Let's listen.
Hidhattoonni Fannoo Oromiyaa irratti banan balaaleffachuun hiriira mormii guddaa deemsisaa oolaniiru. Hiriirri balaaleffannaa kun guyyaa kaleessarraa eegalee hanga har'aatti cimee itti fufuun yuunivarsiitiiwwan akka Dirree Dawaa, Amboo, Miizaan Teeppii, Mattuu fi yuunivarsiitii Finfinneetti adeemsifameetii jira. Manneen barnootaa garaagaraa keessattis hiriirri mormii taasifamaa ooleetii jira. Gabaasni dabalataa chaanee dhiyaata. Sarbamiinsa daangaa Oromiyaa fi yakka ajjechaa ilmaan Oromoo irratti humnoonni Faannoo fi hidhattoonni naannoo Amaaraa raawwachaa jiran balaaleffachuun hiriirri guddaan mooraa yuunivarsiitii Dirree Dawaa keessatti edda galgala adeemsifameetii jira. Hiriiricha irratti sagaleen mormii fi dhaadannoon ajjechaa ilmaan Oromoo irratti aggaamameen balaaleffatu dhagahameetii jira. Haaluma wal fakkaatuun haleellaa humnoonni Amaaraa fi mootummaan qindaa'uun uummata Oromoo irratti raawwachaa jiran Oromoon Yuunivarsiitii Ambootti har'a ganama hiriirri mormii jabaan taasifameetii jira. Barattoonni Yuunivarsiitichaa duguuggaa akka sabaatti uummata Oromoo irratti humnoota kanneen raawwatamaa jirutti akkaan dallanuun nyaata lagatanii sagalee mormii dhageessaniitii jiru. Yuunivarsiitiileen Oromiyaa dhumaatii uummata Oromoo balaaleffachuun hiriira ba'an keessaa tokko ammoo Yuunivarsiitii Finfinneeti. Hiriirri guddaan Yuunivarsiitii Finfinnee mooraa kiiloo 6 keessatti geggeeffame kun barattoota hedduu kan hirmaachise yoo ta'u.
Apologies, somebody tried to reach me.
Dhaadannoolee Oromoon qe'ee isaa irratti ajjeefamuu hin qabu jedhuufi kan kana fakkaatan dhagahameetii jira. Bifuma wal fakkaatuun Yuunivarsiitii Mattuutti hiriirri mormii guddaan dho'uun barattoonni Oromoo uummata isaaniif sagalee ta'aniitii jiru. Hiriiricha irratti duuti nurraa haa dhaabbatu, daangaan Oromiyaa haa kabajamuu fi faannoon shororkeessaadha sagaleen jedhuun irra deddeebiin dhagahameetii jira. Barattoonni Oromoo Yuunivarsiitii Miizaan Teeppis nyaata lagachuun sagalee isaanii dhageessifachuu maddeen OMN gara sirraa dubbisee maniitii jiru. Haaluma wal fakkaatuun manneen barumsa sadarkaa tokkoffaa fi lammaffaa Oromiyaa adda addaa keessatti hiriirri balaaleffannaa taasifameetii jira. Isaan keessaa manni barumsa sadarkaa tokkoffaa fi lammaffaa Waaqoo Guutuu kan Finfinneetti argamu isa tokko. Mana barumsa sadarkaa lammaffaa godina Baalee Aanaa Madda Olaabuu magaalaa Bidiree keessatti hiriirri mormii adeemsifamuu fi barattoonni sagalee tokkoon gocha humnoonni Fano Oromoo fi Oromiyaa irratti raawwachaa jiran balaaleffataniitii jiru. Hiriirri balaaleffannaa kun manneen barnoota Oromiyaa keessatti argaman adda addaatti itti fufee ooleetii jira.
Okay. Okay, I will come back to the other video. So let me just roughly translate what OMN is reporting about this very disappointed, very frustrated student from elementary all the way to universities. They are tired of with ongoing killing in Oromia region, and tired of the system, the failed system of Prosperity Party and Abiy Ahmed. And they are saying Wallaga's blood is Harar's blood, Wallaga's blood is Shoa's blood. There, it's the people dying there is our brothers and the sisters. So they are showing solidarity with Wallaga Oromos. And also let me see, Fano militia in Oromia is organized and financed by Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed and Oromia region's president, Shimalis Abdisa. Their criminal acts against the Oromo must come to an end. Shimalis Abdisa and the Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed do not represent us. Down Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed. And the Oromo people must unite and remove them from power. Oromia is the land of prosperity, not the land of war. Drone strikes in Oromia must come to an end. Civilian killings, looting, and burning of Oromo properties must come to an end. Bahir Dar belongs to Amharas, Mekele belongs to Tigrayans, and Finfinne or Addis Ababa belongs to Oromos. We stand with OLA, Oromo Liberation Army. OLA is fighting for our freedom. They are also saying we are Shani, which is the government given name for OLA. And they also say Fano is a criminal group. Fano militias are killers. Fano is a terrorist organization. And Oromia deserves peace. So these are the roughly translated messages of those middle school, elementary school, and university students who are, demonstrating against the system, allow drone strikes, allow Fano militia to cross into Oromia region, and carried out genocide on Oromo people. So these are the list of the universities and the schools mentioned for these protesters. The Redwa University, Ambo University, Addis Ababa University, Metta University, Adama University, Kotobe University, Mizan Tepi University, Aramaya University, Wako Gutu School. So these are some of the schools or the universities mentioned for these protesters. So that is the beginning of the end of Abiy regime or Prosperity Party. If they continue, if they sustain the pressure, if they continue their protest and demanding the removal of Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed and the Prosperity Party, if they are silent after one day, nothing can happen. Nothing. They have to come out. They have to come out and boycott, like the other students, the university student did. They have to boycott the food and demand an immediate end of Fano cross-border operation, genocide in Oromia, and the change to Prosperity Party and Abiy Ahmed and Shimalis Abdisa removal. So we in the diaspora community also must intensify our support to those ongoing protests in Oromia region. So we have to do our parts. I know one protest is coming in DC, before the US African Summit. I know that one. So Europe, Canada, Australia, you must, Oromos and the friends of Oromo must come out and stand with these young students, elementary students, who are demanding justice in Oromia, and we have to be the voice for them too. So, so that the suffering can end in Oromia. Let's see what Addis Standard says about this protest. Protest erupts across Oromia after latest violence in East Wallagga. Oromo Liberation Front calls on Oromos to defend themselves. Protests erupted in many towns and cities, including schools and the university compound in different places across Oromia, following the weekend violence in East Wallagga zone of Oromia regional state in western Ethiopia. The attacks on 25 and 29 of November in Kiramu and the Gidda Ayana district of East Wallagga zone, which authorities of the local government and the fleeing residents attributed to Fano militia from the neighboring Amara region, has left dozens dead and thousands displaced. Dozens of civilians, including Damto Kafialo Gammada, Kiramu district court judge, were killed, and more than 350,000 people of the entire Kiramu district were displaced in the 2 days attacks on 25 and 29 November. Over the weekend, several contested accounts of intensified clashes involving federal government and regional security forces on the one hand, and armed groups of the Fano militia and members of the Oromo Liberation Army on the other were reported, with unknown number of civilian casualties and mass displacement. The extent of the casualties from the weekend violence, the exact nature of the violence, and who it involved is hard to come by, as regional state governments of both Oromia and Amara regions, as well as the federal government, remained silent about the reported violence. But the killings caused outrage as activists and citizens from the Oromo and Amara regional groups took to social media to express their frustration. On Monday, students in several high schools and universities located in towns and cities across the Oromia region held protests, chanting messages denouncing the repeated attacks on civilians in Wallagga zone. On Monday, a video footage showing two decapitated heads put on pikes and paraded by members of Fano militia was widely shared on social media. The two decapitated heads, allegedly belonging to members of the OLA fighters, caused further outrage and criticism. The protests continue on Tuesday. A teacher at Wako Gutu School here in Addis Ababa told Addis Standard that this morning the students protested the indiscriminate attack against the Oromo people by Fano militia and the government drones. The students went home after they protested, and the regular teaching and learning schedule didn't take place, the teacher said. Addis Standard also confirmed that students staged a protest at Adama Science and Technology University on Tuesday morning, shortly before it was dispersed by police. A student from Kotobe Metropolitan University in Addis Ababa told Addis Standard that they couldn't protest, but they came dressed in black and boycotted eating to show their grievances. Oromo students at Mizan Tepe University also staged a protest, but it was dispersed by security forces. Protests were also reportedly held in high schools and universities in Nakamt, in East Wallagga, in Ambo, West Oromia, and Bali, Southeast Oromia, among other places. In a statement released on Tuesday, the opposition party, Oromo Liberation Front, OLF, condemned the irresponsible and barbaric killing of innocent civilians by the PP-led Ethiopian government, and has called upon the Oromo people to defend themselves. The students in high schools and the universities, teachers at all levels, peasants and the rural areas, and the Kero should defend themselves, the statement read. The party also accused the government of training and arming the Fano militants. Both the Oromian regional government and the federal government has not commented on the attacks in East Walaga and the subsequent protests going on in different parts of the region until the publishing of this news. And Addis Standard attempt to obtain comment from Oromia region and the federal government communication officials were unsuccessful. So that is their answer. Most of the time, they don't want to be accounted for what's going on in Oromia. They shut the phone on you. They don't respond, and sometimes they answer when they know you are from maybe OMN or Addis Standard. They will hang up on you. That is the nature of this government. They don't want to accounted for anything, and they are the one organizing, financing, allowing Fano militia to cross over, get training, get armed, and carry out genocide and brutal, barbaric attacks, and taking selfies, proud of their action, because no system of government to make them accountable for the crimes. It happened in Wallo region. 30 men, loaded on truck and shoot one by one. And the individuals on that video clearly known. No action from federal or Amara region on these individuals. Time will come when they will be accounted for. And this is a tweet from Oda Turbi. Oda Turbi is, as you know, OLA international spokesperson. Is a very short tweet. It says, protests have erupted in #Oromia against Fano's ethnic cleansing campaign and the regime's silence. Over the last few weeks, Fano stormed several districts in Oromia that border Amara. They massacred hundreds of civilians and engaged in the decapitation of people they have abducted. So that's a tweet from Oda Turbi. So let's continue to the other news. Okay. Let me give you now the updates on World Soccer Tournament Qatar 2022. So today, Morocco defeated Spain 3-0, and the celebration is, very charming. And Spain just defeated like Croatia and I forgot. Croatia, Japan is the same like situation. 120 minutes they played. They couldn't score. So finally given 5-5 penalty. And Morocco took the advantage of that, beat Spain 3-0. So now Morocco, for the first time, advancing to quarter final. So became group of 8. And you see the pain and the suffering of coaches, Spain players, Spain fan, and on the videos, but the celebration for Morocco team and fans of Morocco is very interesting. Another game was Portugal versus Switzerland. This is Portugal defeated Switzerland 6-1. That's a tough one. 6-1. So now Portugal also advanced to quarter final game. So we have now 8 teams in this quarter final tournament. The teams are Netherlands, Morocco, Brazil, France, Croatia, Portugal, England, and Argentina. So we have 8 teams now in this quarter final. So you get ready to enjoy. These are tough games coming up. So we have on Friday, December 9, we have Croatia versus Brazil, 3 p.m. GMT, at 3 p.m. GMT. Netherlands versus Argentina, 7 p.m. Friday. On Saturday, we have Morocco versus Portugal, 3 p.m. and England versus France, 7 p.m. So credit for this sport news is FIFA World Cup. So we are happy. At least we have one African team for in this quarter final. So please enjoy. I enjoy by using QB, TUBI app. I don't want to know the result in advance, but I just use the replay to enjoy like as a live game. And as I told you, it's clear, nice, no disturbance. It looks like a live game without any disturbance. But if you want to pay for live games, you can use YouTube TV or other cables. But I just enjoy it for free. TUBI app. This one is about police detaining protesters in Somalia region. So under Abiy Ahmed, I never seen any stability, peace, and growth, prosperity in that country. All is negative since he came into power. All he promised, he made turned against him by his own action. He became an evil man. A man, promised a lot of things, but he turned Ethiopia upside down. He make chaos, anarchy, death, and destruction. He make Ethiopia like that. He make Ethiopia the land of death and destruction, the land of chaos, the land of ethnic tension, hate, and poverty, drought, everything bad about Ethiopia. So it will not be changed until this system is removed or until this prime minister is removed and others given a chance. Let me read. This is also credit for Addis Standard. The Somali region police detained many, including religious leaders Sheikh Adi Abdiwali and activist Muhammad Habene or Huno in connection to a protest that underwent against the ruling party in Kabridar city, sources from the regional state told Addis Standard. According to the sources, there are also civilians, including other religious leaders, who were detained by the Somali Regional Police due to the protest that took place on Saturday last week in Korahi Zone, Kabri Dahar city, located 393 kilometers away from Jijiga. In the connection to that protest, an eyewitness told Addis Standard that a number of youth, women, and the religious leaders have been detained by the regional police. I don't know their exact number, but they could be more than 100. They were arrested in different prisons in the city, and some of them were taken to Jijiga prison, the eyewitness said. Ahmed Abdullahi, Office Director of Ogaden National Liberation Front, ONLF, in Addis Ababa, confirmed that the residents of Qabri Dahar have protested against ruling party for the illicit land grabbing and widespread of different forms of corruption. According to the director, a few weeks ago, elders of the city came to the office of the regional president and presented their concerns about the failure of the city administration in taking its mandate. The residents accused the city administration for lack of transparency and accountability, he told Addis Standard, adding that the elders complained that corruption and illegal land grabbing have become rife. Although the elders went to the president and accused the city administration for its failure in building roads and other basic facilities in the city, they have not yet received any response from the office of the president, he added. Abdi said residents often complain about corruption and maladministration in different parts of the region, but the case Qabri Dahar is the worst of all the others. The Somali Regional State Communication Bureau announced 2 days ago that the president of Somali Regional State, Mustafa Mohammed, established an anti-corruption committee led by the regional head of the Justice Bureau, Ahmed Haji, semester as part of a national crackdown on corruption. Addis Standard attempts to get comment on the arrests from the regional deputy police chief was unsuccessful. As I said, this is the pattern of Prosperity Party officials. They don't give any information. Who arrested, who was killed, who was kidnapped. They don't give any information. They don't want to be accounted for. That's kind of government we have. And they're talking about establishing corruption committee. Where is the corruption from the prime minister, from the head of the Prosperity Party? It should start then and make him accountable, demand his removal. Unless you fix the head, if you fix the leg, you will not be there will not be peace, there will not be stability, there will not be an end for corruption and the killing and other atrocities in Ethiopia, because the problem is in the Prime Minister's office. He is failed to lead the country. He is a failed leadership. He is a fake man. He is a fake man. He's a liar, not trustworthy, and he just enjoying gardening and building White House. He doesn't care about all the bloodshed. If he cares, he could have resigned long time ago, like Haile Mariam Desalegn, former prime minister. He did resign before things came out of control, like Prime Minister Abiy time. So this guy he doesn't care. If everything burned down, if he leave the office, his office, he will stay there. He will not resign. He is that kind of person. That's the feeling of concerned citizens media. This one is about trouble for former US President Donald Trump. And if you remember, he is trying to stay in power by using chaos and anarchy in the United States. But thanks to the system, he couldn't. He tried, but he couldn't. Now he's facing challenge in his business and how he tried to avert the democratic election, the Biden win. Now the despite his running again, trouble is coming for him. Let me read what it says. 2 News. Donald Trump's legal woes are going from bad to worse, as he is just being hit with another bombshell, this time as a state of court ruling have rejected claims by the former president and some of his allies for executive privilege, preventing them from testifying in court. The U.S. Justice Department and a special Georgia grand jury have been investigating whether the 76-year-old, twice impeached former president broke the law as he desperately tried to overturn the results of the 2020 election. And now several key Trump backers, as well as ex-administration lawyers, such as ex-Chief of Staff Mark Meadows and legal advisor John Eastman, will no longer be able to avoid testifying before grand juries in Washington, D.C. and Georgia. Specifically, they are wanted regarding their knowledge of or roles in Trump's mission to block Biden's road to the White House with a false claim of fraud. Following these court decisions, Meadows, Eastman, Lindsey Graham, and others will be forced to testify before the Georgia grand jury, working with the Fulton County District Attorney, who are focusing on the efforts of Trump and his allies to put pressure on Georgia Secretary of State, among other officials, to deny Biden his crucial win there. So this is one. So they will be forced to testify, his advisors and his allies, like Lindsey Graham, senator from Carolina, I think. This one is also on Trump. Trump organization found guilty in tax fraud trial. A New York jury found the Trump Organization, a group of business entities owned by former President Donald Trump, guilty of tax fraud and other crimes. The panel's decision was announced in New York Supreme Court on Tuesday, the second day of jury deliberation. The Trump Organization could be required to pay up to $1.6 million in fines, and a relatively small amount considering the size of the companies. In the Manhattan District Attorney's Office alleged the company engaged in a 15-year tax fraud scheme, with executives wrapping off the books compensation in the form of gifts to help them avoid paying income tax. New York prosecutors spent 3 years investigating Trump and his companies, according to the AP. Prosecutor Joshua Steinglass told jurors on Thursday that Trump knew exactly what was going on with his company's fraud. The prosecution relied on the testimonies of Alan Weisselberg, the former chief financial officer who had worked for the Trump company since 1973. Weisselberg pleaded guilty to the 15 count he was charged with, including conspiracy, grand larceny, criminal tax fraud, and falsifying business records. In a deal with prosecutors, he admitted to avoiding taxes on about $1.7 million. The prosecution described Weisselberg as a high managerial agent for the company, and said the Trump organization stood to benefit from his law breaking. The defense claimed Wellsberg's action benefited himself, not the company, and claimed the Trump organization is innocent of wrongdoing, according to the Associated Press. We are here today for one reason, and one reason only: the greed of Alan Weisselberg. Susan Nichols, a lawyer for the Trump organization, said on Thursday. Trump, who was not personally charged in the case, denied he knew about the scheme. On Sunday, he called the case a witch hunt and a scam. Trump recently launched his 2024 presidential bid despite ongoing criminal probes, credit Yahoo News. So he's claiming, and his lawyers are claiming, Trump is innocent. He doesn't know about this 1.7 tax fraud. Really? He didn't sign the paper? That will be investigated. And more news, more bad news coming about this former president. But I appreciate the United States, laws, established laws. You cannot take power by force. You cannot say, uh, uh, you can claim, but you cannot take power by force, by sending your supporters. This is the United States of America, and I am proud of that system. If that system was not in the place, Trump will be in power, and maybe more bloodshed, chaos might have visited the United States. Civil war between Democrat and the Republican. But thanks to the system, we avoided all this chaos, and this power-hungry person still, uh, didn't concede the defeat, still claiming that election is fraud, despite all the evidence. So that is the update I have in reading. And let's watch a couple of short videos and end today's presentation. Thank you again.
Nations on Tuesday warned Somalia was undergoing a catastrophic emergency due to the most severe drought in the nation's history. Speaking during a joint meeting of the League of Arab States, the UN humanitarian coordinator for Somalia said the Horn of African country was suffering from its fifth consecutive failed rainy season, with a sixth failed season predicted for next year.
As we gather here today, approximately 7.8 million Somalis, and that is nearly half of its population, have been affected by the drought, and nearly 1.3 million people have been displaced since January 2021.
The UN had previously warned that a total of 6.7 million people were expected to face high level of acute food insecurity.
Took that decision, and when he said, I simply asked him how high.
Somalia does not lack skills. We have enough qualified people. And now, thanks to UPEACE, we are getting more and more every day. Today, we have graduates that was not dreaming at all to graduate inside Somalia for this specific and particular subjects. Have we ever had anyone who graduated subjects like environmental science, peace and security? This is a new variable. The day I started to go to school in the 1960s until today, this was a very long journey. But it ended up successfully. I reached the destination peacefully. That demonstrates everybody can reach it. If I did, anyone younger than me, who got more time than I do, can do it.
Okay, that's Morocco celebrating their victory over Spain. It's a quite very it's a great achievement for African people. Okay, so these are the videos I selected for you for today's update, and we wish Moroccan team for more victory. Possibly Morocco coming to semi-final and the final. Who knows? We just wish them good luck and more celebration for them, for Arab world, and for Africans. So we are proud of with their achievements so far, and we wish them more success, hopefully. So we're waiting the game they have on Saturday with Portugal. I know it's gonna be tough, but we are waiting to see how they're gonna do. So please enjoy the game, and let me finish today's presentation by saying the protest now spreading everywhere should continue, should be sustained to make a difference, to make a pressure on Prosperity Party and Abiy Ahmed, Shimalis Abdisa, who are allowing and financing, organizing with Amara regional government about those Fano cross-border attack, Fano's genocide in Oromia, Fano's burning Oromo Oromos and their properties and taking selfies and chopping body parts and prouding, showing their pride on photos. This never, I never seen this. I have seen Taliban's, taking picture when they're chopping the head. So the same type of situation coming to Ethiopia, thanks to Prosperity Party leadership and Abiy Ahmed leadership in Ethiopia. So to end such atrocities, such genocides, and all the chaos in Ethiopia, and this protest must be sustained and spread to other elementaries, other universities, and also must be supported by other sustained protests around the globe. So the diaspora community must wake up, do its best, and do it again. It's not a 1 day or 2 day protest that can bring change in that country. So I know one protest is already organized in Washington, D.C. before U.S. African Summit. More is, more must be done in, all over the world. Canada, Australia, Oromos in England, they did last time. We need more in European countries. So if we do that, change will come. Change will come through pressure and with the help of all the fighters on the ground. Thank you again for joining me for today's update. Please be safe. I will be back with other news and update. Stay safe. So long, everyone.